Hey gang, Jimmy here with Rain 6, and today is that video we've been waiting for. I've been dying to give to you guys. It is we're gonna cover from tooth to tail, really, the Archon Firearms by PTR Gen 1 grip, what I like to call the retro Archon Type B, and then of course the new Gen 2 grip on the Archon Type B by PTR. And one thing to get out of the way in the very beginning of this video is the warranty. Limited lifetime warranty by PTR. You can read the language on that warranty at ptr-us.com. They have been in business for a long time. They are an awesome manufacturer and they make a lot of those great HK parts that you guys love. They are now importing the Archon Firearms from overseas, and they are also going to be manufacturing in the US. So we will have Archon Firearms marked with US verbiage in late 2024, I believe, but we'll have to stay tuned and see when and how that all plays out, okay? So without further ado, let's get right into it on the Archon Firearms by PTR Retro. This, I call it the Retro. I think that really needs to catch on because it's not a real Gen 1 gun. The only Gen 1 thing about this, which is the original Archon Firearms Type B, is the plastic grip. So we call this the Retro style Gen 1 because everything is enhanced. Everything is a Gen 2 style, especially the grip on this one. But this one just has the plastics of the original gun that came out in 2019. That's what you're seeing here. So what we have in this gun from tooth to tail is you have your USPSA beveled Magwell. You have your grip map texturing that a lot of you folks are big fans of. The serrations actually go down in this curvature here, and they actually face upwards in the front of the grip, so that way when the gun actually goes off, these are using the flesh on your hand to counteract muzzle flip. And then of course what we can see is the low bore axis that the Archon Firearms Type B is known for, and the inline barrel that it's known for. And if you see this piece of polymer right there, this is the grip enhancer. What it's really meant to do is hit this tendon here and just help that purchase that much more. So the theory is, with all things being equal, having that grip enhancer, hitting that tendon right there in the webbing of your hand, your grip is going to be slightly better or enhanced, as they would say. Now the trigger, a full face steel trigger. So if I were to put my finger up here, or if a foreign object got into the gun, the trigger will not, the safety will not release. But if my finger is in the right area of the trigger, you see that rock right there, the trigger is now released, and then you can make your trigger press and the gun will go bang. Okay, so it's kind of neat. I don't know how many other guns are doing this. When it's a polymer gun, usually there's a extra safety detent that's sticking out of the middle of the trigger. Archon decided we're not going to do that, and there was no need to do that. Also, because of this grip being the Gen 1 style, there is going to be a serial number on the bottom between the pick rail here that's going to match your slide and your barrel and everything else. What is different that you probably haven't seen before is the new marking here, and that says PTR right on the outside of the chamber part of the barrel, okay? Let's talk about the sights. Just like before, and if you're watching this for the first time, these are louvered, so they are serrated, serrated U-notch in the rear, full metal sight, and the fiber optic front sight. And these are compatible. These guns are cut and compatible for Glock sights. So the front sight indeed does have a little hex screw that you put on the underneath of the slide, and the rear sight is dovetailed and has two screws in the top to secure it. Okay, the mag release is incredible. So you have metal mags made by Mekar. It actually says 15 on it, but if you press hard, it is a 16-round magazine, okay? And that is because, and this won't happen in the older magazines, there is a new follower in these magazines that's a little bit more low profile. That's why there can be 16 in these guns now. The mag release is awesome. It's very reactive. When you hit that button, that mag is coming out. There will be no shaking the gun to get that mag out of there. All right. Let's, I'm going to talk about the internals when I actually start handling the Gen 2. So these just came out right before Thanksgiving in the US for the first time in the last 3 years. I think 3 years ago, 2020 January would probably been the last time any of these shipped. So it's nice to have these back. And the last thing I'll say about it is the markings. You'll see on the grip, made in Germany, and you will see the markings on the slide, made in Germany. In parallel, guns are arriving right now to have Czech Republic markings, and that was just strictly because of a demand. How do you get more guns out into the field? We got German guns coming in, we have Czech Republic marked guns coming in, but in the future, they will be Czech marked guns, and then of course, made in the USA. That will be hopefully end of 2024. So let's get this one put down right here, and let's move over to the Gen 2 grip release of the gun. Okay, so what we have is some pretty big differences, a very radical difference. This grip module here, because remember the subframe of the gun, the serial number's actually right there on the back of the subframe. So the Strike 1 by Arsenal Firearms that came out way back or was shown at SHOT Show, I want to say in 2014, that subsequently arrived in about late 2016, early 2017, those were the first pistols that most people can recall. I believe that I'm sure that I can recall that the subframe was the actual pistol. So this indeed is just a grip. We won't call this the frame of the gun. This is the grip, okay? And the subframe is the serialized piece and is the actual firearm. So going from that grip to this grip, there aren't any laws being broken. It's not a serialized, it is serialized there, but legally that is not the firearm. So you could swap those things, and in the future, there could be other products coming out that you drop that subframe into, okay? So right now we're looking at Talon grips on this grip. This is the medium rubber texture that the Gen 2 grip ships with right out of the box. From Talon, you will be able to get a soft rubber, the Pro texture, which has this kind of like lint fuzz that's really grippy. It seems to be everyone's favorite that I talk to, and it's a little multicolored. That's the Pro texture. And then for you competition style shooters or outside the waistband, you'll be able to do the skateboard tape. The really neat thing is, if you're carrying concealed, you could put a softer texture here, and you could put skateboard tape, and you could mix match these pieces even on this modular extender down here. You could do a different material on that. So I think the customization for your style of shooting is pretty cool. And of course, they go up here where your sets are, what are you even gonna call those? Where the grips are, where you can rest your thumb or index your finger and know where that's at. You'll be able to change out those as well. And that might be a great place to have skateboard tape. But we'll see. What are you guys gonna end up doing? The other thing about the gun, and we'll go over the modularity here in a second, but it's the mag release. It comes with a tool. It's a small hex wrench. You undo this screw right here. The mag release components come out, flip them around, and then screw it back in. And then of course, you can change your mags like this, or it's for left-handed, however you want to view that. Another thing to mention, with the Gen 2 grip module, no need for a serial number here, because the serial number is just going to be on the frame, the actual frame. You can call it a subframe, and other parts of the gun. So not on the grip, which I think was a great move. Even on the front of the trigger guard, you can see that when these things come from Talon, they're all laser cut like on a 8x9 sheet. You could put skateboard tape just right there if you wanted. So have some fun with that. I'm looking forward to getting all of those and seeing what's going to work the best for me. Let's break the gun now. Break it down, and we're going to show you how the stuff inside works. So I'm going to press the trigger while it's pointing in a safe direction. I'm going to pull the slide back about 1/4 of an inch, and all I did was press this pin in as far as I could. You do have to get in there pretty good, because it won't stick out very far, just enough for your fingernail to grab. All right, and then sure enough, it's going to come right apart. Let's look at this internal here. There's the sear, and when the sear moves out of the way, the striker is allowed to go. But of course, the trigger has to be pressed the correct way for one of the safeties to be unlocked, if you will. So this is a one piece of machined steel, this entire subframe. So if you watch some other videos on torture tests and things like that, this gun probably excelled more than any other gun. One of the reasons is there's no dirt or grime that can get into this area. Another advantage of this is, instead of 2 tabs up here and 2 tabs in the rear, which is fine and obviously works, this one long piece may keep the slide and the recoil impulse a little bit tighter and a little bit more consistent. There's no torsional rocking of that slide when the gun goes bang. And let's move on to the slide now, and we'll take this apart. All right, Archon Firearms by PTR. There's like the original, you're going to get a 3-position or progressive spring system. So you got your main guide rod spring, then you have your medium spring, then you have your stiffer spring, so they don't all get defeated or go to solid height, which is what destroys springs. And this is a premium piece, and that's what I was about to say is Archon Firearms always put steel sight, steel trigger, all of these things that add up. And if you were to do that to a comparable gun that came without these type of components, you'd be well over the cost of an Archon Type B, and plenty of people out in the field have shown that, demonstrated that over and over. Here's kind of where the secret sauce is in the speed lock, the patented speed lock system. This is the locking block right here. I'm going to take the barrel out real quick. Here's your barrel, 1 in 10 right hand twists, and it's 4.3 inches long. And there's the inside of the slide. Looks pretty standard, if you will, except for probably this part of the firing pin. That's when the sear moves out of the way. It's actually intersecting with that bottom piece of the firing pin, which allows it to go ahead and activate and shoot forward, okay? This is a neat thing to show. When we're talking about the bore axis, you can get a really good idea of how low it is when you put the gun together like this and demonstrate. The mag is right there. Imagine a cartridge in that magazine. It's almost going straight forward into the chamber. So failure to feeds are very much minimized in this platform, okay? And then, I think we could do this right here. Let's put it together like this and we'll show you what's actually happening when the gun is going off. I'm going to put the locking block in there. Okay, so instead of, with the inline barrel that I talked about earlier, when this gun goes off, instead of 200 grams or whatever it may be of a steel barrel tilting, slapping, because they want the chamber to get down for the next round to feed in, because the bore axis is low, you can have an inline barrel. When the gun goes off, instead of the barrel moving like that, it's just this locking block. So it's 6 grams of steel moving up and down that allows for it to unlock and the slide to maneuver. And then when it locks back up, which is pretty incredible, let's go ahead and put this back together. And I want to show you what kind of tolerances and what kind of fit we're talking about. And there's only one way to put this guy in here, and it's the rounded corner towards the rear of the slide. There it is. So on the inside of the slide right here, there's a second set of grooves. One set of grooves will allow the frame to intersect with them and ride in there. The second set of grooves are for the legs on here, one of the legs, the top leg, as you're looking at it right now. And when the gun goes in the battery, now it's in that groove, or out of battery, boom. Now the locking block drops, and now we have, that's maybe moving 2,000. I mean, it's barely moving. I can feel something, but once it's locked up, this is an extremely accurate gun. Okay, all pistols are more accurate than the shooter, but maybe this will make you a little bit more accurate when you actually make that perfect shot, and you get that shot at 200 yards on steel. Very, very tight lockup. So let's put her back together now. Recoil, progressive guide rod and spring system. That goes into place. Make sure the mag is out. Your captured pin is in the captured position, and that's your main takedown pin. There's only one. I got my locking block, and I just pressed it all the way down so it's seated. And then make sure the magazine is out, if I didn't mention that. We're going to pull back just a hair and then push the pin in at the same time. And sure enough, it goes right into position, and now we'll do our function check. You have about a 3mm reset on this trigger. If you didn't see that, I'm going to give you another view of this. And it is a solid, we need to test it. It's probably 5.5, 6 pounds out of the box. There it is. and there it is. So pretty decent trigger right out of the box, and of course we're going to do some fun stuff with that when the time is right. Okay, so we went over some of the DNA in the gun, what makes the low bore axis, the speed lock system with the locking block. It is such a pleasure to shoot this gun. If you haven't shot one, get your hands on one at a range or get something going. Get one and shoot it, because you're gonna absolutely love that recoil impulse. And let me add this. In this, we're gonna go over the grip module here in a second and how it works. I'm gonna show you in real time. We're gonna put it in different configurations and talk about the future a little bit. But I have medium-sized hands, and this flared Magwell is very much enlarged. It is a prominent feature of you're not going to need an extra flared Magwell. This is like buying an extra metal Magwell and putting it on any other gun you've probably seen. It is hyper flared, and this lip on it really gives, when we were talking about this at SHOT Show, everyone grabbed it. They're like, wow, that purchase is different, because you can torque down on that and really get a good grip on this gun. It is quite awesome. And when you're the larger configuration, if you have giant, meat hooks, then you can use that as well on the longer edition, which we're going to get into right now. The longer configuration. Okay, this isn't everything that comes in the box, but it's all the particulars and the important stuff. So we have two 16-round mags and two 19-round mags. Something to talk about on the mag is, obviously these are the Magwell mags that have been made forever for the Strike One. They're being now also, this body is being used for the Archon Type B, but with the new follower, instead of 17 rounds, 19 round when you press with a little bit of effort. If you can only get 18 in there, then that's fine. It's more than 17. Just know that it's not 17. What you're also going to get are some extra roll pins, and that's for the grip module. And then here, of course, is the tool that I talked about for the magazine release button. All right, let's talk about the modular grip system and how this works. My first thought on it was, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I really need to see it, because I didn't think it was going to be this sturdy, well-engineered, this robust. Let's show you how it works. So I'm dropping, it's in the 19-round configuration right now. Let's put that mag right there. And you can see a pinhole here, and one right there. So in this configuration, you'd have 3 roll pins. Let's convert it to the 16-round. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the back strap, and it's a tight fit. And you can see that there is it's like a tongue and groove. You have a groove here. And then on the back of this, it's like tactical toy Legos here. You could see the spline on the back. So that groove and this kind of a backbone, this spline, will intersect and really lock all these into place. And it's really well designed. Everything fits really tight, really perfectly. So going to the 16-round configuration, I want this to be the bottom section. So like your dining room table, I'm going to take out the middle section, put that right there, put this back on. And now in the 16-round configuration, it is important to know that I can choose from a larger palm swell or the standard palm swell. I'm just going to put the larger one on right now. So I'm going to line this up. And that's a good fit right there. And then now in the 16-round configuration, I'd reinsert the pin here, reinsert the pin there, and then we're good to go. So in the 16-round, you can go with the larger palm swell on the pistol or the normal one. In the longest 19-round, there's just the medium or the standard, I would say. And then there's one more thing. Let's talk about the future here for a second. When you get this kit, you're going to say, what is this guy for? This is a very short one. Really cool. Let's put this guy on here. This is very Glock 26 like grip. It's almost identical to the length. My pinky is on there just a little bit. Most people, maybe their pinky is going to be hanging off a little bit. The future holds a 13-round magazine that's coming to market. So this is really awesome. And I'm not saying that. It's everyone that saw it in this configuration at the show, and some people shot it at shot it in this configuration. You still get a great sight radius. You still get the recoil impulse of a heavier duty gun. But when you're carrying concealed, especially in this country, you don't have this part really sticking out. So 13+1 in this very short grip configuration, in my opinion, is just it's awesome. What a treat for gun owners to be able to see some technology like this come out and some rethinking of things on how they had been done in the past. You know, revolutionary, different, unique, from the Talon grips to the modularity, all of that. And then, of course, what you just can't get in a lot of other guns is just that low bore axis. And might I say, the fastest cycle time in this, I haven't recorded it, but it has been marketed and it has been talked about in a lot of the Strike 1 materials in the beginning, back in 2014, and the Archon Type B, that when the gun goes off, from going back, unlocking, going through the cycle and locking back up, it's the fastest cycle time. So the recoil impulse of this gun, in my mind, when I shoot it, it's over with. And when I shoot other guns, I can feel everything happening in that recoil. All right, so I'm gonna leave this one here just like this. And let's just do a little bit of a recap on this. The retro Archon Type B and now the Gen 2 grip. So the retro grip, all the same components, same everything else is just like the Gen 2 grip Archon Type B on the left side of me. They are all German marked right now, and this is right after Thanksgiving, and we are receiving the first Czech Republic marked guns as well this week, right after Thanksgiving. And it's important to know that PTR is doing all the warranty work, so all the parts, all the servicing, they're going to be handling all that. They're an awesome company. We really enjoy working with them, and we're so thankful that they brought back this awesome pistol for all of you guys to enjoy. And then also Iron Horse Firearms and Distribution will be a value-added distributor. So you will see different types of sights, trigger jobs, extra mags, kits, bags, all kinds of stuff like that sold through the offerings that they bring to the market. Okay, I think that's about it. We will have a follow-on video because the Optic ready versions, which let me speak on that for just 1 second, because in the comment section, a lot of people ask, what kind of Optic ready? And it's super popular to have an Optic ready version. The Czech Republic marked guns that are arriving this week will be Optic ready. They're coming with the shield sights footprint. And there's a reason for that. But there's also the ACRO footprint that is being produced also. So we'll have the ACRO for if you wanted to go full mil-spec type of like real hard duty. And then the shield sights, which just has a really wide range of offering from all kinds of different manufacturers. I'll just show you what's on my gun right now. We have the EPS carry on there with the multi-reticle system. Closed emitter. So we're thinking with the shield sights cut, we're going to be doing the shield sights like what I have right here. If you want to do EDC, if you want to do range shooting, whatever training, the shield sights RMSX. Of course, you guys know the RMSC and then the waterproof model, the RMSW. We're big fans of those. We're going to be doing the shield sights models. We're going to do anything else that matches that footprint. There's lists online. There's so many different optics and they're coming out all the time. Just go online and take a look of what is going to match that shield sights footprint. Okay, so those are the two options. Those will be here within the next few days, and then expect an Optic ready video for the Archon Type B, and we'll probably be using the Gen 2 grip module setup or that SKU for that Optic ready video. So until next time, you guys stay safe out on the range. Thanks for tuning in and learning about these. If you have a question, you can always just hit it up in the comments, and we do a pretty good job of making sure that we get all the information out there. But for now, let's wrap it up, and let's thank PTR for bringing this back in the US, and let's thank Archon Firearms for bringing these back to the US. It's a fun time to be in the shooting sports, my friends. I'm Jimmy with Range 6, and I'm out.